All right, here we go. And I'm going to change this to gallery view because I like to see all your faces. All right, guys. So tonight is all about just organization in your business, organization in life, and just things that we wish we knew. Um, So, Abby, I'm going to let you open it up if you want, and I'm just going to let you share like a couple of your biggest tips. You have created this incredible PDF for us that is in the 2020 push page. That is how like you just keep track of the things that you're doing for the day. So let's just start with that. And why don't you just go over that and what inspired you to start it?
Okay, so I started at like the end of April, beginning of May, somewhere in there. And I honestly thought that I would get paid to post and just post alone, which is really stupid. So I ended up letting a lot of people slip through the cracks once I figured out that you kind of have to message and put the work in. So it wasn't until like August or September that I was really like, I really need to write it down. And then I also realized that like I wasn't doing my 6 list as often as I needed to do or like as consistently as I needed to do. So in October, I created the PDF. So like the first part of the PDF is like daily routine. So like my non-negotiables that I do every day. So that includes like my coffee story and self-development and that kind of a thing. So it's like my main things I do during the day. And then the second part of it is the 6 list. So like the posts, how many posts I do on both platforms, how many people I add on both. And to me, that's like, it's kind of like a checklist type thing, because if I don't do checklists, I'm not going to complete it. And I know that for myself. And then the last one's the daily journal. And I really recommend doing that because it helps get your mind straight throughout the day and keep it on task. Yeah.
Oh my God, that is so good. I'm literally like obsessed with the way that you do it. And I think too that I want to point out is like, number one, you and I do things so differently, and like so do I and everybody else, and you know everybody does one thing or another different from everybody. So I want everyone to just remember, like, regardless of what we're talking about, there's no right or wrong way to do this. But if you struggle with making sure that your 6 list is done every day in full, making sure that you're staying on track and staying focused with your goals, then like start implementing some of the stuff that we're showing you. So I love that. And then one of the things that you said that I wanted to touch on too is like, I stress this a lot, and I love that you said it because it is just like, yes, we did our jobs right. So setting non-negotiables, like you have certain things that are like, no matter what, I'm getting at least this done, you know? And I love that because when you're shooting in the dark, and I say this all the time, but when you're shooting in the dark, you're going to miss every time. So like, when you have a set intention and you physically check it off, like there's science behind physically checking something off. And not only do you feel so accomplished and like feel like you can go to bed at the end of the night because you actually completed your 6 list, but like you're setting those. And I don't think people do that often enough. So I love that. And then the other thing that you said that I think I wanted to touch on too is like, people think often, or I've felt personally this way before, where I feel like I'm on my phone all day long, but like, are you truly being productive? Are you truly being efficient with your time? And until I broke it down and like, okay, during these times today, that's why I only do my calendars, and I'll get into this in a second, like per day, because every day is so different. And if I projected out a week, I would literally keel over because I wouldn't be able to keep track of it all, and it would stress me out. So I do one day at a time, and I set goals for like what I want to do in my business that day, what I want to do in my personal life, whatever. So I really love that. And I think that you were so intentional now, which you weren't before. And I think all of us go through that phase. Like when you first start, you don't know what you don't know, and you just don't know how to be intentional. And I think that this is a really good tool, especially for newbies. Okay. So one thing that I wanted to, did you have anything else that you wanted to share like right off the bat before I jump into the next topic? Or
There's an app called To Do. And it's literally a lifesaver. You set up different labels for different things you need to accomplish. So like accomplish. So like chores or messaging or whatever. And you set your time frame that you want to do it in. So you're not constantly looking at your clock. And I always do that, so I'll switch between like cleaning the kitchen and messaging, or cleaning the bathroom and adding people or doing stuff like that. But it's a really good app. Keeps you on topic.
I love that. There's so many apps, you guys, that we can use to our advantage. Like, there's another one that I know Jade Hooper was talking about that's called Productive. And like,
Yes.
I've recommended for a couple people who have a hard time like actually focusing when you do sit down to do a power hour. Like, there's focus apps, and you can write down, okay, this is what I'm working on, and it will literally lock you out of all other applications. So if you say, I want to send Facebook messages for 25 minutes, and you turn your focus tracker on, it will only let you access Facebook Messenger for 25 minutes until the timer's up. So there's so many things that you can do and download, and you just have to be a little bit proactive and start to look for them, and they'll start coming up. Okay, I love that. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that I wanted to say too is, like, when it comes to potentials and keeping track of your potentials, whether it's this PDF file that Abby has created that you guys all have access to, where you keep track of your potentials each day there, or you have the calendar app in your phone and you write down who you're talking to that day, and the next day you go back to the day before and you follow up with those people, or you have a physical notebook and you're physically writing down these people's names, or you have a planner and a physical planner and you're writing it down on certain dates. However you decide to do it, I highly suggest that you pick one. Don't try and do 6 of them, because you're going to be all over the place and still scatterbrained, and the whole idea is to get you guys on track and organized, right? So pick one thing and stick to it. Try it for a week or 2, give it the time to like actually become habitual. And if you find that it's not working, then try something else. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to pick one. We have to keep track of our potentials. Like, that's just the name of the game. And then what else was I going to say? Oh, so I want to jump in and I want to hear your opinion after I kind of like share what we've been doing, about how this has been working for you, because I would love the feedback, and I've been getting some feedback from others. But in the 2020 push page, I've been pushing you guys to create a schedule. And this is what I was just talking about, for yourself every single day. Like, every single morning I sit down, regardless of what time I wake up, and I per hour block schedule things out. And I know that it seems crazy and so micromanaging of your day, but again, like, if you don't have a specific goal in mind, you're not going to hit it. So I know even if things change, I'm adaptable throughout the day. Like, adaptability is a huge part of this. Things come up, life happens. But when you have a baseline of what you need to complete every day, and you know from this time to this time before I go to work, I'm going to be doing a power hour or a power 30, and then on my lunch or after work or whenever those times are for you. And then I literally break it down even more. So if I have a power hour, I have an entire list of things that I want to accomplish during that power hour. So there's never, and this is something that I struggled with for so long. You guys, have been in the business for almost 2 years. And I struggled with for so long feeling guilty. And I want you to drop a 1 in the chat if you've ever felt like this, feeling guilty for spending time with your kids, spending time with your family, spending time with your spouse, actually going to your day job, going out and having a few drinks with your girlfriends, freaking taking a walk by yourself. Like, I have felt guilty for doing anything except for working this business. Part of it is because this is my full-time income. And because we've worked 9 to 5s, we're so used to, if we're not working, we're not producing. And that's just simply like not how this business works. So the whole reason, and I heard it on a podcast earlier this morning, is the whole reason that we became entrepreneurs is because we want freedom of time, because we want financial freedom. And ultimately, at the end of the day, feeling guilty about these things is a choice. So I had to force myself, even though I'm the least organized person in the world, to block schedule my day, because I literally wouldn't shower. I wouldn't eat. I wouldn't spend time with my family or my kid, or there was movies all day long and I'm just sitting there busting butt and whatever. And a couple things that I want to make a point of here is that takes a toll on your relationship with your friends, with your family, with your kids, with your spouse, all of the people around you. It takes a toll on. it also takes a toll on you. How do you expect yourself to not get burnt out when you have done nothing but sit on the couch all day? And I say that because all I do is sit on the couch all day. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I work this business, right? So I have to force myself to go on walks because that is what is healthy for me. And you guys, when you start putting yourself and your health and your mental health first, your business will seem so effortless. People will start coming to you. You will feel so good and so excited to work because it feels natural. It feels good. You're feeling the financial freedom. And even if you don't yet, maybe you're starting to see a little bit freedom of time, or maybe you have a better mindset overall, right? Like, I can't tell you how many ways this business has positively influenced my life, but this specifically in the last 2 weeks when we have implemented this block schedule and posting what we're listening to for self-development and posting what we're watching for training videos. Like, I don't know about you guys, but my newbies are popping off. And when they start seeing what we're listening to and how we are working every day, I'm sorry, you guys, but there are teams that literally work 30 minutes to 2 hours a day. If you go on to our thing, you guys are working 2 to 5 to 7 hours a day. Like, you are working in the nooks and crannies. And the best part that I love seeing is you're still making time for yourself. You're still making time for your family, and you're making your business a priority regardless of what it takes. And it just feeds my soul. Like, it literally lights me up to watch this happen because you guys are running for these promotions. And I honestly think just the consistency of that schedule and forcing yourself to literally pencil this into your day like it is a second or third job is like so crucial. So Abby, how do you feel about this? How have you been liking the new schedule?
I personally like it. I was already kind of doing it. I'm more green in a sense of like I schedule everything, and if I'm not on schedule, I kind of have a panic attack. Everyone at conference saw that. But I purposely get up at like 4:30 in the morning to go to the gym to have me time and listen to self-development, and then the rest of the day is work. But it's like literally scheduled out. Like I have scheduled pee breaks basically. Like everybody knows when I'm going to the bathroom, and more than likely my bathroom time is not for the bathroom, it's to message. So like I'm a really big fan of the block scheduling because I'm just a scheduled person.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I feel like too, it allows you to, like I said, not only not feel guilty, but just like enjoy life a little bit more. Like, it takes the stress of feeling like you have to be on your phone 24/7 or have to work all the time. No, I've scheduled this 2 to 3 hours by myself, or I've scheduled this hour, whatever this time frame is, to spend with my daughter, or to go get my nails done because that is what is relaxing to me, or to do X, Y, and Z. And then you come back to it, and it, like I said, it just feels so much more natural, and it just is so much more enjoyable. So if you've been feeling blah about your business lately, I seriously suggest like getting re-excited and forcing yourself to come up with something new, even if that's just implementing this scheduling thing that we're talking about. Okay, so the other thing is, let's talk about, because you are, I totally know, so green, a little bit OCD, you've admitted it, it's okay. And I love how you are just so on point with everything in your life as well, because you have so much life happening. So let's talk about, how do you stay on track with, like, obviously we've got all these people that we need to make time for and ourselves. How do you make time for chores? Like, are you penciling them into your schedule, and then you have a separate like chore list of what you need to get done that day? Or like, how do you do that?
Yeah, I wish I was at home because I could show you my kitchen. So above my sink, I have like my dream board that has like, and then all my it work stuff is on one side, and I like condensed it, and then the other side has a list of chores that I do in the morning and a list of chores I do at night. But they're all categorized by what day, and they're also penciled into my planner and then my little pocket planner. So I have like 5 different planner things that I have everywhere. So I pencil in chores and stuff because like I am really OCD. I've kind of let it slack a little bit since the whole promotion thing. But yeah, no, I pencil everything in because if I don't, then I don't get to it, and then I just feel crappy, and then I feel like I'm not doing enough and I'm not taking care of everything I should, and then just feel kind of like a horrible person, like I'm putting the business above all else when it shouldn't be that way. So yeah, pencil it in.
Oh, that's so good. And I think it just goes back to too, like your why. Like we started this so that we had time to clean our houses, so that we had time to spend with our families, and we had time to, you know, make ourselves a priority. Like I remember when I was working a 9 to 5, I don't ever remember my employer like, you know, trying to challenge me to listen to self-development and to better my mindset and to make sure that my health was a priority. Like you guys, these products are so key to our health and to actually sustaining this lifestyle that we live of just go, go, go. Like everybody's on the move all the time. And so it's really easy to get just caught up and feeling like you're running on this hamster wheel when really you just need to slow down. Oh my gosh, I learned so much, and I swear that's why I feel so much more like calm recently. Is I was listening to this audiobook, and it's kind of a slow read, but it's called Stillness is the Key by Ryan Holiday. And he talks exactly about this thing, just like living in the moment. And especially since my daughter's come, and even if you don't have kids, I'm sure you can relate this to something else, because I know I could at least understand this before I had kids too. But like when you see someone who's growing so fast every single day, it really reminds you of your mortality, and it really reminds you of how little time we have on this planet, and how every single moment counts, and how every day matters. And so when you force yourself to, it goes back to like the habits of the successful, you know, like you get up and you do the things around your house that you need to do, and you're not sleeping in till 12 p.m. every day, and you're completing your 6 list, and you're still making yourself and your family a priority, because whether we like it or not, there's 24 hours in a day. And if you saw what some people accomplish in that 24 hours and still get sleep, you would be amazed. So just force yourself step by step to get better and better at this. It's going to be a process. It's going to take time. For Abby, this might come a lot. In fact, I know it does come a lot more naturally to her than it does for me. And that's okay, but I've had to learn it, and I've had to force myself to implement it, because number one, nothing good happens inside your comfort zone. And this is something that makes me really uncomfortable. But I'm watching the prosperity and the abundance that is coming and all the things that are happening, and how much better I feel when I'm doing this. So just try it out. Okay, let's talk about, I asked Connor a question earlier because I told him I was doing the Zoom, and I said, what is like one thing that you've noticed that organizationally I've been better about in the last 60 days of my business than I ever have before? And he thought about it for a second, and he goes, you have been so much more consistent in your charting and knowing exactly how far everyone is from their promotions. And every single day you're going into your downline orders report, and you're seeing who is popping off. You're seeing who's enrolling and where the volume is going. And you're looking at projected numbers of how much you truly are as a team bringing in each day. Like this really is a business, you guys. And when you stop treating it as a hobby, you need to start looking at your statistics. You need to start looking at, okay, if I send this many messages per day, how many replies am I getting? How many new potentials am I getting per day? How many haps am I getting up? What does it take to get X, Y, and Z done? AKA your steps to success, promoting to Ruby, promoting to Emerald, promoting to Ruby. Like, what are you doing in those time frames? And just staying consistent with that. Like if you guys don't, again, it goes back to, if you don't have a baseline, you are just working for nothing. Truthfully, like if you don't have a goal in mind and you don't know exactly what you need, you're just like praying and hoping that your 10 haps a day cuts it. But if you know that you need 4 mocha dreams a day, by golly, you better be getting enough haps up to get those in. You know, like I'm not perfect, and we can't control when anyone enrolls in this business, but we can control our actions. And at least at the end of the day, even if you didn't meet your goal, you know you doubled your efforts, because when you did it the first time, it wasn't enough. That doesn't mean sacrifice the time with your family and all these things that we've already been talking about. Everything I've said still remains the same, but you might have to stay up a little later some nights. You might have to wake up a little bit earlier some nights. You might have to sacrifice going out and getting trashed with your girlfriends every weekend and cutting it down to once a month. Like that's just reality. How bad do you want this? start treating it like a career, like your business, like this is what puts food on the table, because eventually I know every single person on this Zoom that I'm looking at right now wants this to be their full-time income. You have to treat it like this is do or die. Same thing with your family. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, Abby, do you have anything to add on to that before we move on to the next thing?
No.
No? Okay. So let's see here. Oh, the other thing that I have been having you guys do that I really love, even just seeing your replies to, is when I'm having you do your schedule, I'm also having you set 2 house goals, 2 personal goals, and 2 business goals for the day. And I love this because I think when you take your focus, like obviously you have your goal and what you need to promote, and you know how many enrollments you need to bring in that month, you know how much volume you need, but when you take your focus off of how many people you're enrolling that day and just focusing on truly the actions that you're taking, it just, again, puts intention into your action. And we talk about, if you've ever listened to the podcast Manifestation Babe, she talks about all the time, and I'm going to relate it to money for a second, is your attention, money flows where your attention goes. And it's the same thing with this business. Enrollments come wherever your intentions are. So if your intention for the day is to enroll 4 distributors, maybe you didn't meet that goal, but because you doubled your efforts, you got 20 new potentials for the day. Who cares if you didn't enroll to 4 distributors? It's gonna come, and those 4 distributors are going to come because you got 20 new potentials who are eventually gonna join your business. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with your house. Don't overwhelm yourself with a massive long list of what you need to accomplish for your house that day when you're only giving yourself 2 30-minute segments in the morning and the night to clean. That's not realistic. So give yourself 2 goals, vacuuming and dishes. And as long as you've done those 2 things, by the time you go to bed, you're happy. If you do more than that, amazing. Pat yourself on the back, but set a bare minimum. And then your personal, like I'll put shower and eat because literally I forget to do that. And then I'll put yoga and workout or whatever, because if I don't write those things down and say, I'm going to do this today, I won't do it, and I will come up with a million excuses as to why. I'm too tired. Oakland's being whiny. I ran out of time when she was down with her nap. No, I scheduled a workout time, so why is it not happening, right? But if I don't schedule it, then it's never going to get done. Okay, so then, oh, Connor said this too, and I thought it was so good. We were just talking about the business and whatever, and we were just talking about life, and he goes, it goes in like 3 segments, and as long as you do these 3 things, like I feel like we can get anywhere we want to go, like regardless of what it is. And I was like, what's that? And he's just like, you have this dream, right? Like, this is what I want. This is what I want to accomplish. And then you have the process, and that's the 6 list. Like, I'm going to relate it to our business. Let's say I want to go triple diamond, right? This is what I want. Our process is our 6 list every day. How many new potentials we're getting, how many haps we're getting up, how many hours of self-development am I listening to per day? Like, all of these things that we're talking about, that's the process. And then he said, execute. And you have to do the work. You can make these organized things implemented. You can get all of the things set up. You can be excited about the new planner. But if you never write it down in the damn planner, it doesn't matter how excited you are about it. He goes, so when you have the goal and then you have the process and then you implement the execution, your success is inevitable. And I say that one-liner all the time, and I heard it on a Zoom, like when I very first started. But if you do the things, the enrollments will come. You see it every single time. I know the second I take my foot off the gas because enrollments aren't coming in. I know when y'all take your foot off the gas because steps to success aren't getting completed. People aren't promoting. When y'all work, when I work, when anyone works, the promotions fly in. So it's so simple. Set a schedule for the day and stick to it. You know, like it's just that easy. And I think that we like try to make it this big, complicated thing. And it's just like post, message, follow up. Hang on one sec. I'm going to pause the recording. wrap it up really quick and I'll go in there. She's like super unhappy. So, okay, that was pretty much all of my notes. I did have a couple things from the Show Me the Money call that I wanted to go over. So, Abby, do you have anything to add before I touch on those? Any last minute tips of organization or something you wish you would have known?
I mean, I just did, because I used to do really, really long to-do lists. And then I think it was during one of your wake up Zooms. You said make a list of 5 things you want to accomplish throughout the day. And that's what I do. I make a 5 list of like things. The first one's always like the 6 list, and then the other 4 are other things I want to get done. But that's pretty much it.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Okay, I'm going to be a little bit quiet. Can you guys still hear me?
Mhm.
Okay. So the other thing that they said on the Show Me the Money call tonight that doesn't really have anything pertaining to what I was already talking about, but I just wanted to like reiterate to you guys is Joel said something that I thought was so key is when he's talking to people about the difference between like our coffee and Starbucks coffee or Dutch Brothers coffee, or you know, if somebody says that this is too expensive or whatever, you know, like there is 400 billion cups of coffee consumed every single day, and our coffee has a purpose, right? Like with the nootropics and how it helps you burn fat, like the mental focus and the burning of the fat, you literally cannot compare to a Starbucks coffee. It's like comparing a Lamborghini to a Honda, right? Like we're on 2 different like wavelengths here, right? Like, do you just want coffee, or do you want something that like actually has a purpose for you? And then the other thing that I'm going to be doing tomorrow, because I've already had a bunch of polls go up. So if you haven't had a poll go up today on your story, or need a good idea, Stephanie said that she literally has gotten hundreds of votes on if you like your coffee hot or cold. And so many people are voting. And this is a really good conversation starter. Like, well, what do you normally drink? Well, what do you like about that? Well, what are your health goals? You know what I'm saying? Like, it really starts the conversation. It's a really easy starter. And then they asked her, the woman they were interviewing, I wish I could remember her name, but Pam asked her what the catalyst was to her next goal, like what pushed her to her next goal, because she was stuck at Prez for so long before she went ambassador. And she said, that we thought there was only one way and that we were going to go with the same people. And I think it is so important to remember to be open and open-armed, welcoming to newbies, and thinking that every single newbie and treating them like they're your next presidential diamond, regardless of if they join and they kind of fall off for a little bit and then they jump back in. Like, always be there for those people, and just be open to bringing in new blood, you guys, because when you close those doors and you think that you already have the team that you're going to go diamond with, like I don't have the same team that I even went diamond with. I don't have the same team that I went double with. The team that we go triple and prez with is going to be so different, and that's okay, because I'm in this for the long run, and the people who want this as bad as I do will be right there with me. And that's how we're going to hit ranks like presidential and ambassador 2.0, right? So don't focus on the people who are falling off. Focus on the people who you're bringing in. How many more people can you help today? Because it's going to be an evolutionary process. This is not a binary process, or excuse me, like a singular process. This is a binary process, right? Like there are so many things and different avenues and ways that you can grow this. So I just wanted to leave you with that tip. I really hoped that this helped, and you guys, I really want you to give Abby some love. She has been feeling like absolute shit today and did this anyways. She is the definition of not using her why as her excuse, and I so appreciate your input and the work that you put into creating that PDF and putting on the push page, because I know a lot of us really, really appreciate that, and your leadership has just been incredible. So I'm super proud of you, and thank you so much. So I hope you guys have an amazing night, and we'll do this soon.